Hi there, STEM students. This is Mrs. A again. Welcome to week number 5. We're going to start talking about TinkerCAD and what our next project is going to be on there. I just want to give you a brief tutorial on how to work the website and how to take a look at where the lessons are to kind of get you caught back up with how to use TinkerCAD. And I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the work plane itself. Okay, so this is your landing page. So when you want to create a new design, you're going to obviously click on create a new design. We're not going to do that right now, but we're going to go to learn. And so if you feel a little bit rusty, if you never worked with TinkerCAD before, or you're like, you know what, I just need a quick refresher on how it all works, I want you to go to starters, okay? So the starters are going just to kind of talk you through how to move objects, how to view objects, how to uh, flip, rotate, make something translucent, make a hole in something. So let's see all these different starters right here. Okay, so there's 7 of them. So you can go through them at your leisure. You can click on them. You can click through them if it's something that you've already done before. These are not necessary, but they might be helpful later on if you're kind of stuck on how to do things. Okay, so to get back to your home screen, you're going to click on the rainbow TinkerCAD in the corner. So let's click on create a new design and show you the work plane there. Okay, so you'll see right off the bat that you have your work plane that is in a gridded formation. You have a crazy name up here. So what I need you to do first, excuse me, is I need you to change the title to your name and then just STEM project. So this is going to be your first little STEM project, okay? And from there, we're going to just kind of take a tour counterclockwise, actually. So right here is where your camera controls are. So what I'm doing basically is holding down my left mouse click on my actual laptop itself. If you have a mouse itself, it is so much easier to move the camera around, but I have a trackpad and it gets a little bit wonky sometimes. If you have a touch screen, if you're working on an iPad, you can do the same thing. So I'm touching the screen right now and it's working pretty well. This is if you want to go back to home view, it'll reset itself. This is if you want to zoom in on something, if you want to zoom out and see what it looks like. This is just to change the view. We're not going to go to flat view. That is just a little bit weirder to work with. We want to work with perspective. We're in 3D, so we want to work with all the different angles and not really just the flat paper kind of 2D view. All right, going down here to where it says Snap Grid and Edit Grid. Now, I can't make any exact promises right now that I'll be able to print these out to you and get them to you, for obvious reasons. But we do have a 3D printer at home here, and it's currently being worked on. We're replacing some parts. And so if we can print them out to you, which, is a possibility, you need to work on a specific grid. So we're going to edit the grid. So you're going to click on edit in the corner. Okay. And we want to work in inches. And I want you just to make your general grid with what you're working within, your constraints, to be 5 by 5, 5 inches by 5 inches. Okay. You see how it changed right there and how each of these large squares right here, the really dark blue one, that's 1 inch. And we have a snap grid of 1/8 of an inch. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squares that make that up. if we want to change our snap grid, if we want to like work really, really, really in small increments, we can go even to 1/64 of an inch, but we're not going to. Okay. So again, edit your grid to 5 inches by 5 inches. All right, so now let's go over here to where the shapes and such are. So you have the drop-down menu here where it has basic shapes, text and numbers, characters, connectors. There's something new on here which we're going to utilize later on, which are different shape generators. Actually, that's not the one that we're looking for. Let's see. Oh, the Hangout space. Sorry. It's the Hangout space. So we're going to be utilizing this kind of Hangout space stuff with like all these different little like interior decorating type deals. Later on, I'll show you what we're going to do with those kind of things. Okay. So for right now, we're going to kind of click on basic shapes. I'm going to show you how to move something over. So there you go. And so on the shape itself, you see all these different things that are kind of highlighted when you click on it. So first off, the box itself is highlighted. It's highlighted in blue. If you see it not highlighted in blue, you're not working on that shape. So you got to click on it so you know you're working on that shape. The white boxes tell how tall something is or how short something is. You can kind of see the measurement on the side, so it'll give you a little bit more accuracy. This cone right up here, this black upside down cone, or it's not really upside down cone. it's just a black cone. You can lift your shape off the plane itself, and you know it's off the plane because there's a shadow underneath it, because 3D objects make a shadow. So, that is a thing. So also you can use the rotate tool, which are these arrows on like an arc right here. And you can curve and rotate your item however many degrees you want. You can rotate it the other way if you want. Okay, so that's how you can use those different tools on the actual shape itself. All right. And then when you want to make something that is hollow, so when you want to like carve out a piece inside of your actual item, you will take a shape, but you have to make it translucent. Now, this is, if you were to send this item to me right here, this is a completely translucent rectangle. That's not going to print at all. So you need to make sure that your item that you want it to be cut out of is solid, and then whatever shape you were cutting out is the translucent bit. Okay, so let me just, for sake of tutorial, so I'm going to select everything. So all I did was click, so left click and hold, and dragged that over everything. You see how everything is highlighted. And so up here in this toolbar is where you have the group function. So when I click group, you should see that, oh, it didn't go all the way through, but it cut out that cylinder that I put on top of my rectangle. And if I want to ungroup it, if I want to change it, so say I want to, change my rectangle around so that it actually will, let's see. Here we go. Let's move my cylinder down a little bit more and actually make a hole through it. So you can look from the bottom as well and see if your actual shape that you're cutting the bit out from the main shape is actually going through the bottom. So again, I'm going to click, hold, drag it over everything, and then group. So I have a nice little cutout from my main shape. And when I'm finished, actually, I'll do a video on that later on. But these tools right here are to import, so to download onto your computer or send to me or export onto the actual 3D printer. But when you're ready to send it to me, I'll send you another little tutorial. All right, that is a brief tutorial of the actual TinkerCad website. Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you. There is a delete button, so if you don't want your items anymore, you can delete it. If you want to duplicate your shape, you can click the duplicate button and it makes 2 of them. And if you want it again, duplicate it again, and you got 3 of them. You got the idea. But hopefully, what I want you to do for this first day is just to play around with it, make something interesting, try to cut out a shape from one shape. You can do a keychain, you can do something random. It doesn't matter. I just want you to play around with the actual program itself. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.